I'm delighted that we now have Maria Raffaella Assetta with us. Maria is the head of unit for international affairs at DG FISMA and the European Commission. And as I said at the beginning, the forum, the EU-Asia Financial Services Forum that took place last week, was co-hosted by the European Commission together with the SFC. So we're happy to basically have the other co-host with us now. Because, as I say, we normally would have held this our own event as the private stakeholder meeting on the fringes of that. So, Maria Raffaella, nice to have you with us.
Thank you very much, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to address you today, and I would like to thank you a lot, Afore and FISMA, for organizing this EU-Asia Financial Services Dialogue and having me here. As Nick recalled, we met among European and Asian regulators last week during our Asia-Pacific Forum, and we all agreed on the importance of the good cooperation among our two regions at the time the world is facing very high uncertainty. This dialogue is important and is complementary to our regulatory forum, as it brings together the financial market community from Europe and Asia, and so provides a unique opportunity to foster mutual understanding and to build trust. Now, in this dialogue, the topic debated are mirror those discussed in the regulatory forum and revolve around two main themes, technology and sustainability, which are crucial for the financial sector as they are for our economies and I would say for our lives. Indeed, digital transformation and sustainability-related challenges have significantly influenced the way we look at the regulation of financial markets in the EU and I believe also in other jurisdictions. The future of finance is digital, clearly, and new technologies may bring many benefits across sectors. So we should look at how financial services regulation can ensure that we reap those benefits and exploit the potential of digital innovation. At the same time, we should look at the new risk digital finance may create and address them to preserve sound and healthy financial sectors. On sustainability, the transition to a more sustainable economy is an imperative, as the catastrophic effect of climate changes show. That transition requires massive investment, and clearly the private sector has a key role to play. So we should look at how our regulatory framework can effectively enable the flows of investment to activities that support sustainability. And in doing so, we need to be sure that the rules are clear and simple enough for investors. Now, in both areas, the EU is very mindful that international cooperation is essential, as these challenges are not confined in a single jurisdiction, but are global and thus require global replies. So now I would like to give you some elements of the work that we are doing in the EU in those areas and on our international engagement. On digital finance, I will be brief. The previous panel was really insightful, notably on the role of AI in finance, operational resilience, and so on. So I don't want to add much. I will just say a few words on the regulation of the crypto asset sector, where in the EU, as you know, we have the regulation on the markets on crypto assets, the so-called MiCA regulation, that regulates the issuing of crypto assets and the services provided in respect of crypto assets that are not covered by other legislation. And as it was recalled earlier on by ESMA, the MiCA regulation has started to apply fully as of the end of 2004, and we are now focusing on implementation. On this, in our regulatory forum, we all agreed that in this field, harmonization of standards is very important. So the EU fully support the work of the Financial Stability Board to promote the implementation of the FSB global regulatory framework for crypto assets. And this not only in FSB jurisdiction, where of course they have to be implemented, but also in non-FSB jurisdiction, it will be important that they are implemented. So we also support the work of the FSB to engage with other jurisdictions, non-FSB, to further enhance global coordination. Moving to sustainability, I'm happy to introduce the discussion you will have in the next panel by recalling, first of all, that the EU has in place a comprehensive sustainable finance framework that we presented, I think, largely in previous dialogue, so I'm not doing it again. I would rather give you some indication on our work going forward. Starting from saying that the Commission focus is now on making sure that we have a business environment that boosts competitiveness and further propels investments that support the transition to a more sustainable economy. Last January, the European Commission presented the Competitiveness Compass, which sets a path for Europe to become a place where future technologies, services, and clean products are invented, manufactured, and put on the market, while being the first continent to become climate neutral. One of the key enablers for competitiveness is simplification. So our objective is to reduce significantly administrative burdens, and notably on small and medium enterprises, without, of course, compromising our policy goals. And in this vein, the Commission is putting forward a proposal to revisit existing EU sustainability legislation, and this with the objective to reduce complexity while fostering the sustainable finance framework to mobilize investment in clean transition and ultimately unlocking the European Union full economic potential. This proposal, which is known a bit everywhere now as Omnibus on sustainability, notably, is planned for adoption tomorrow. So you will know more tomorrow. I can just tell you that it will cover simplification in the fields of taxonomy, sustainability reporting, sustainability due diligence, and carbon border adjustment. In this, our broad policy goal, as I explained, includes eliminating duplications and inconsistencies in reporting requirements, adjustments to the scope of those regulations, ensuring that reporting or due diligence obligation for large companies do not burden SMEs in their value chains, and delivering greater harmonization to simplify reporting, due diligence, and foster a more consistent regulatory environment. In line with this simplification agenda, the Commission is also working to streamline sustainability reporting under the Sustainable Finance Disclosure Regulation, the SFDR, to enhance coherence with the Sustainable Finance Framework. It's very important now in this effort to streamline, to ensure that all the pieces go well together. And by making the necessary adjustments, the Commission aims to assist companies and financial institutions in making the transition simple, cost-effective, and efficient, ultimately supporting the goals of our European Green Deal and supporting the transition to a more sustainable economy globally. Of course, the EU domestic regulatory agenda, as I said, goes hand in hand with our international engagement and our effort to promote comparability and interoperability of sustainable finance frameworks, those they are developed a bit around the world. And as this issue of the interoperability also we discussed a bit in the forum, and again, we all agreed that it is key to ensure that. I will just give you kind of a couple of examples of our effort. And one is on sustainability reporting, where, as you know, in the EU, it is based on the European Sustainability Reporting Standards and the ESRS. And the first set of companies subject to the Corporate Sustainability Disclosure Directive started applying those standards for the financial year 2004. So we will see the first sustainability statement in 2025. Now, the body in charge of developing these standards, EFRAG, and the Commission have worked very hard to ensure a high degree of alignment between the European standards and those developed by the SSB, the International Sustainability Standards Board, and also the Global Reporting Initiative. And you might have seen that last year the EFRAG and the SRB published a joint interoperability guidance, which reflects such a high degree of alignment. And we trust that this will guide companies that are using both ESSB and ESRS standards through the very few additional disclosures that are required. Another area I would like to mention is transition finance, which is another priority area for the EU and for our international engagement, as clearly we don't need only to invest in what is already green, but also into activities and projects that make an impact on the way to get there. So we see, in this area, we see transition plans as a key aspect of transition finance. And in the EU, we are working to streamline and simplify also the application of the current framework in that area. And again, also in this area, EFRAG is engaging with the ISSB to ensure the necessary consistency between EFRAG transition plan and an implementation guidance and the ISSB work. Also, I would like also to mention that more broadly, the EU collaborates with Asian partners in global platforms like the G20 Sustainable Finance Working Group, the IOSCO, and the International Platform on Sustainable Finance. And I would like to say a few words about the latest one, to which the European Commission provides the Secretariat. And just to recall, one of the important work that the IPSF has done is the Common Ground Taxonomy exercise, co-led by the EU and China, which seeks to compare taxonomies of the jurisdiction, both jurisdictions, to identify similarities and differences, and thus fostering greater interoperability. And last year, the Common Ground Taxonomy was expanded to include new economic sector activities and an environmental objective, and also another jurisdiction, Singapore. So this is an important work that was also highlighted at COP29, where the IPSF partnered with the Central Bank of Azerbaijan and the Sustainable Finance and Banking Network on a roadmap for advancing interoperability and comparability of sustainable finance taxonomy. So this is an important area of international cooperation. Again, in the IPSF, we are also working on incorporating biodiversity and nature consideration into transition finance principle. And also this, we believe, could contribute to global discussion on private finance for nature and biodiversity. With that, I will conclude by saying that on the two themes we discussed today, we have a lot to deliver in Europe. And overall themes like simplification, sustainability, digitalization, and making financial services work for the citizens will play a major role in our future work and priorities. International engagement is part of it, and we are confident that through our regular dialogue, we can foster and deepen the fruitful cooperation between European and Asia-Pacific financial market. And we look forward to our continued exchange, giving us the opportunity to understand each other and build trust. Thank you. I will stop here.
No, thank you very much indeed, Maria, for this very interesting overview, just a day before the omnibus is being published, as you say, an interesting timing. But I do very much appreciate that in this time of geopolitics, you highlight the importance of continued dialogue, what this is all about, and also to anticipate future developments and talk about them before they've happened, so that we can find common solutions and not try and bring a fragmented world together again when it is taking much more time. It takes much more resources to do so. And the international platform is one good example of that. Thank you very much indeed for being with us and supporting us in this discussion.